She knew, like you learn in The Stilling of the Storm, that the only way to truly find peace is through the Savior Jesus Christ, no matter what waves and storms life is tossing at you. So she wrote this poem, which we're all familiar with. Where can I turn for peace? Where is my solace when other sources cease to make me whole? When with a wounded heart, anger, or malice, I draw myself apart, searching my soul. Where when my aching grows, where when I languish, where in my need to know, where can I run? Where is the quiet hand to calm my anguish? Who can understand? He, only one. He answers privately, reaches my reaching, in my Gethsemane, Savior and friend. Gentle the peace he finds for my beseeching, constant he is and kind, love without end. So we know that hymn, and she had a friend who was musically inclined, a composer named Jolene, and so she called her friend and said, I wrote this poem, can you set it to music? She would read her friend a line over the phone, and her friend on the piano would work out the tune, and over the course of a morning, they worked out this hymn. Wow. She says Jolene herself had a history of genetic depression in her family, so she understood every word I'd written. And then Emma Luthane concludes, we sought professional help for Becky and found it in a superb doctor and a newly found medicine that corrected her chemical imbalance. She would need it the rest of her life. But it was love from her future husband and the peace expressed in that hymn that provided the ultimate healing for Becky. A few years ago, Deseret Book came out with this book, Silent Souls Weeping. It's by Jane Clayson Johnson and is about depression. And in here, she went to interview the composer, Jolene. She asked her about her experience composing the music for this hymn and what that meant for them. So here's a different take on that process there. Jolene told me that she and Emma Lou had called that song the Mental Health Hymn. It was their original title. And that the Gethsemane they were both thinking of as they wrote it included the mental suffering and anguish that the Savior took upon himself for each individual who has or will suffer from depression and other mental illnesses. She told me about a mental health episode of her own. It was so severe, she recalled, that she was unable to get out of bed for months. When she was finally able to leave her room and go downstairs, she joked that she and her family celebrated by getting in the car